This one's a showstopper for all the punk rockers. Crank up that radio, it's time for some anarchy in a rabbit hole. Let's go!
Prison to start a revolution straight from the underground. We set our shackles to fight the battle. Suck corpse going down. Our voices grow, we're bad to the bone. We say no to authority as we rebel a robotic hell and fight for liberty. Now it's time to unite. Throw your fists up and fight. Too punk for you to stop us. That's what makes us dangerous. Suckboss bound to pay his soul, cause it's anarchy in the rabbit hole. Way too punk for you to stop us. We're becoming it from us. Come and see our war unfold, cause it's anarchy in the rabbit hole. These armies deployed, set to destroy. Are we afraid? Hell no. It's time to bash the butts. Gonna shoot our shot. Play the song on the radio. He wants the ring, let's give him pain. We'll always be free. So hits us up, you throw your middle fingers up. We're going down in history. Now it's time to unite. Throw your fists up and fight. Way too punk for you to stop us. That's what makes us dangerous. Suckboss bound to pay his soul, cause it's anarchy in the rabbit hole. Way too punk for you to stop us. We're becoming it from us. Come and see our war unfold, cause it's anarchy in the rabbit hole.
Now it's time to hear the fastest fingers in the metaverse. Make some noise, are you ready?
Oh, wow! So this is what you were all excited about in the early days, huh? Oh, I get it. This is back before you had a talking rabbit making sarcastic comments on it. Whew, things are changing quickly here, huh? Huh? Doesn't everyone say it takes like 5+ years to build a game like this? Alpha 1.5 is coming to you soon, so take an Adderall, pop a Ritalin, and stay tuned, because you're going to need help once this bad boy's out. Say goodbye to your loved ones, quit your job, because you're never leaving your computer screen again. The only way you're going to see the light of day is if they wheel you out in a body bag. So just know that we've been working our asses off over here, and we can't wait to share it with you soon. And Carrot Gang, by now you should know that when we give you a date, just add a little bit of time. There's a reason I'm single, because I'm bad with dates. Oh, wow! So...
Let's see who. Let's go. I absolutely love that video. Big shout out to Russell, our editor, and this plane just going past now. I mean, Russell came in super clutched up with that one, so Russell, big shout out to you. Russell was also the editor for the classic Mad World Gears of War trailer, so you know that guy's got some mad skills. And you know what, I actually also love seeing some of that old footage. Looks quite dope to me. I still like the old footage. You know, look where we started, people, and look how far we've come in just over years. I mean, I was pretty happy with just smashing those boxes around and collecting coins with no map. And now we've got a whole city built, tons of new fun weapons, whole skateboarding system. And today we're going to show you the early workings of our free-for-all game mode. Hope everybody's been training, especially you, Lord Victor, because you're now going to be able to compete with each other. So before we go ahead, you know what to do. Smash that like button, retweet, and all that good stuff for engagement purposes. You know, just want to say something here. We operate in a high pressure and extremely difficult industry with a lot of expectations, almost daily expectations for news. And despite that, we never took our foot off the gas and always show up. So firstly, want to give a huge shout out to the full team over here at AMGI Studios, the people you don't see and haven't met that come in day out to deliver for us. We've got people working day, nights and weekends on this stuff, going above and beyond to deliver and make this thing really special and sing. Real passionate and driven people. I mean, I'm usually one of the last out of the building here, but also usually one of the latest in too. We've got dudes like 2Hop who's in here before me and still in here after me when it's dark outside and you know it's unsafe to walk around the streets in LA. The energy and drive these people have is incredible. So round of applause for the team, people.
Yeah, let's go team.
Oh, where's the applause?
Hold on.
Okay, hell man. Bravo, AMGI team. So big shout out to the AMGI team and the wider Carrot gang. We appreciate and love you all. And you know, we're sorry we couldn't get the build out to you today, but I'm telling you, it's going to be worth the wait, and you guys are going to be seeing a lot of it today. I saw the guys playing free for all yesterday, and it's looking great, and the new build is absolutely amazing. This is far beyond the GDC build or anything you've seen previously. It's another like 2-3 steps up. You know, we were here late yesterday, and Kevin had the most powerful statement that was simply, "Guys, we have a game." And although we always had a game, we now have a game. And whilst we go through the process of getting it uploaded and upped on the Epic Store and going through their QC and QA process, we've got plenty of new footage to show, and I'm confident you're all going to be really impressed. And as a byproduct, we can actually, in the meantime, keep working on optimization and patch again when it's ready to be received and when it's approved on there. So what's the agenda for today? Today is actually all about the game today. We're going to cover the tokens upbots in the reverse AMA next Thursday, and we've got a lot of exciting stuff to discuss there. Really pumped about all of that, so you're going to be very impressed. But today we're going to delve deep into the beautiful product we've been working our absolute socks off to develop and give this the real showcase it deserves. And quite fittingly, the Hooligans are also modeling their underwear and socks today, so free-to-play players, get ready. That's probably how you're going to start. How are you guys feeling? Any reflections on how far we've come?
We're feeling really good, man. We're ready to jump in. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing to see that old footage and like remember. It's like, oh right, yeah, that's what we were playing.
Yeah, I did a lot of that in my garage.
Mom's basement.
It's now upgraded to a
garage
kitchen.
Yeah.
It is crazy to consider when we started this project in the early iterations, and like honestly seeing what you guys had done in the beginning stage of this to then see where we're at now. You guys essentially rebuilt the whole damn thing from scratch.
Not
It's
essentially,
insane.
we did rebuild the whole thing.
exactly.
from scratch.
Yeah, okay,
A
yeah.
complete
Not
restart.
essentially.
Yeah.
That was what it was.
Yeah.
Control N.
All right, so we've got plenty of time to reflect on
Freaking crazy.
how far we've come. I'm already seeing comments here that this is even better than the testing build that went out like a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, it is.
Well, yeah, it is. It's a hell of a lot better. We don't have Colin today. That big blue guy, big Captain Blue Bob.
Captain
apparently
Blue Bob.
has ate
Captain Blue
Colin.
Bob.
Ahoy, matey. Ask Blue Bob if he ate Colin. Did you eat Colin?
Blue Bob, did you eat Colin?
He takes his time thinking.
What kind of question is that, matey? I ain't never laid a finger on Colin or any of me crew for that matter. I'll have you know, I'm a man of honor, and I don't take kindly to baseless accusations.
All right, thank you, Blue Bob.
go.
All
He's
right,
angry.
please
Cross
do
him.
not
All right.
accuse Blue Bob of eating somebody again. He doesn't look so impressed.
He
Anyway,
definitely did it.
you know,
Yeah, he did.
just to note, a lot of the stuff we're doing with these And I quite like Blue, but I think it's my favorite AI character so far. A lot of the stuff we're doing with these AI bots has purpose. You know, it's not only is it part of R&D and part of the application in the game, and even outside of it, you know, wouldn't it be fun if this tech was built into NPCs, or you had your own witty, knowledgeable, and fun personal assistant? So there's a lot of thought behind what we do in this part of R&D process. It's not always about how do we apply this to what we're doing in and outside of the game as well, to really kind of enhance the player experience and to also kind of onboard others as well into the ecosystem. We do have another captain with us today. We've got Captain Carl, aka Carl Tunes, aka
Carl.
Zeddy Carl, aka Carlo Rizio, aka
Carlino.
I think I've run out there,
You
but
got a lot of aliases.
you know,
Carl the Carl.
the wizard is the wizard.
A lot of
but
passports.
The wizard is the wizard, but a lot of this game is also Carl's baby. That's why we call him Zaddy Carl. A lot of it's him using his crazed mind, the love for weird and wacky games. You know, he's nurtured, fed, and raised this from the ground up to be the beast it is today.
Yep.
You would have seen him in his kitchen doing facial exercises as well, which is some of his personal collected footage there. How are you feeling, Carl? And you know, how are you feeling seeing this in the position it is today, from you know starting with basically the Unreal grey grid with nothing in there?
This is awesome. So when we started, we're like, let's build a game, and I'm building gameplay, and we're like, this will be easy. And, you know, it wasn't. And I was really naive to even start, but now we have something that's really cool, and it's awesome to see people having fun with it. It's super fun, like silly and chaotic, and I don't really know if there's many games out there that are this vibe or like this right now. And so it's, for me, it's a breath of fresh air. When I'm coming from like super competitive, like sweaty shooters, this is a lot more just lighthearted and casual and fun, and just more of a good time for me personally. So it's cool to see people playing it.
And how
Seeing him enjoying it too.
How important is vibe to you? I mean, vibe's an interesting word, but how important is that? And how important is it to have an experience where somebody can just pick up a control pad or a keyboard and just go, and not have to, you know, sometimes when I play some of these new games, I have no idea how to even control the menu, let alone what's going on. It's just like there's too much to absorb. Like, how is having that level of simplicity, vibe, as equally as important as having those complexities too?
Well, I think vibe is it's really important. So like, if you're not like feeling chill with the game and it's causing you anxiety, and you're throwing your controller because somebody got the kill when you should have got the kill, or you know, I don't know. I played a lot of Modern Warfare and Call of Duty, and it's very sweaty, like Counter-Strike, very sweaty. And this just feels like it's more just laid back, and like if you die, you're just right back in the thick of it, and it doesn't feel like you're severely punished for it.
Good stuff.
I don't know. It's just the overall funness is kind of what.
What about you, Kevin? Like, give us some of your reflections from day one to today, and how far we've come. And you know, your sentiment yesterday, and in your words, you said, guys, we have a game. Like, what does that mean?
The hardest thing in the world is to make your game fun. And one of the biggest mistakes that I've seen a lot of teams make is they'll just keep on cranking on a thing that's just not fun, and it's not happening, and now they've got more art on a game that's not fun, and now they've got more features in a game that's not fun. And the reality is that's never going to work. Nobody's going to play a game that they're not having a good time with. And finding fun is like this. It's kind of this weird thing where like you can't really force it to happen, you can't really plan for it to happen, but when it does happen, you got to recognize it and then not screw it up. And I feel like, you know, this team really achieved that. Like, you know, and a lot of it just from like what you were saying, Carl. You know, it's like we just started doing this thing and didn't stop, and then kept evolving with it and saying, oh, you know, what would make this even better is, you know, whatever new idea, and just having the freedom to do it the way we think it needs to be done. And you know, we want to try something out, it doesn't go to a committee or anything like that. We just throw it in and try it and see whether or not it's any good. You know, so I mean, it's huge.
Listening to each other as this thing has evolved has been a really important part to it, where it's like
Big time.
You know, hearing you guys say like, hey, I really like this about this game, but it'd be cooler if we did this and here, and it's kind of like this, but let's kind of maybe adapt it a little bit more so it kind of fits within ours. And seeing that evolution happen is really cool, and I think it just speaks to, you know, the team and the culture and the collaborative effort that this has been. To now be
Absolutely.
able to see it like all kind of come together, and you hear everybody enjoying it and having fun playing it.
Yeah.
Like that's something where like, hey, you know, Kevin, you bring this up a lot. Like you can't design fun. You can get a lot of really great designs down, but sometimes those designs don't execute in the actual like, you know, gameplay. So
We were, you know, real quick, we were talking right before we started rolling here about, you know, the fact that we have this thing that we get to play with, like ultimately, in the fact that you guys are pretty much, you know, you're following your intuitions, and you get to just continually play with this thing and figure out and feel that fun. Figure out, all right, is something working here, something not working here. And frankly, I think that's actually one of the things that we've probably really got a strong hold on as far as just a culture as a company. We follow that intuition, like, oh, this is fun, this is exciting, let's double click on this and see if we can then kind of like roll with this. And that intuition has actually gotten us to this. It's pretty amazing, you know.
It's how you make art. I mean, you art is iterative. You have to get into a conversation with the thing that you're designing and like play it and then see what it needs and play it and see what it needs. You know, I got a friend who works at another studio. They're doing some NFT game. Obviously, I'm not going to name like what it is, and he hates it there because basically, like, you know, it's one of these deals where the management came in and said okay, I want it familiar but different, and so they're basically just making some crappy clone of an existing game, and nobody on the team gives a shit about it. You know, they're just phoning it in and basically just copying the design details, and like that's it's dead. Nobody's going to care. The thing is going to fail because it's not going to be any fun.
When you have something special, you have to harness it and really protect it. And that's something like I watch you guys do it on the floor all the time with the team, where, you know, you give everybody that creative ability to create things that they like and push them in that direction. And when it doesn't work, pull it back. I mean, you know, like I will say my favorite part to this now, having, you know, been playing a lot more, is the underwear and socks. I think
that's what I was going to get onto.
I've never, sorry, I don't want to jump ahead.
Hold on, let's talk about the underwear and socks.
Yeah, dude,
talk about these underwear and socks. Whose idea was that?
It actually, we had to model it off of Carl, so it was a little awkward when we had to do that, but you know, those his underwears and his socks that we started with.
A couple HR discussions around it.
Mostly, this is a way of avoiding the nudity part of the ESRB in a fun way. But this kind of stems. This is kind of an ode to my brother. When we were little kids at Christmas, we each got laser tag, and we couldn't wait to try the laser tag. And so before we could, you know, put actual clothes on, we were running around in our socks and undies, playing laser tag in the living room. And so this is a
little tip of the hat to that.
Yeah, to my
I love
brother.
it, man.
Yeah,
That's
and
cool.
also it's hilarious to run around in underwear. Also, like you know, like if you played like back on, I think it was like PS1 or PS2, there was a game called Maximo, and then there was Ghosts and Goblins. And originally the idea was to like shoot the hoolies and blow their clothes off, but then they're down to their undies. And so, but for right now, it's more of just a cosmetic throwback to those games.
It's so cool, man. Let me throw this in there too. Like, for all the holders out there, you're gonna be able to join and play as your NFT, as your hooligan. How cool is it gonna be when the free-to-play players come in and they're playing as a naked hooligan in their underwear? You get to roll by like all decked out.
You'll also
give you a pretty big flex.
You'll also be able to take your NFT's pants off and run around in your undies.
If you, should you choose.
Yeah, I mean, Steve's just asked if we're going to be able to play with our hooligans in version 1.5.
Yes.
That's correct. Yeah, you will be able to.
Yep, that is in.
All right, cool. Okay, so good backstory on the uniform there. What I want to kind of touch on here is actually we've got some exciting news about the rating as well, I believe. We have achieved a teen rating. Is that correct?
Yeah, teen, correct.
All right, so Colin will be happy, and a lot of other individuals will be happy as well. Let me just ask a question here before Doobie Doo does. Does that include some of the apparatus we've got in the game?
the water the water vase.
The water vase.
The water vase, yeah.
Oh, that'll likely turn into something.
We're working around it all.
Yeah.
All right, so
I think it got included in
get the
consideration.
teams ready. I mean, that's a great success given you know how edgy we wanted to be with this.
Working out, Kevin.
I don't know what's going on there, but you know, is that do we see that as a success given how we wanted to kind of lean into the edginess and the naughtiness with this as well, but also not kind of discourage a wider kind of player base as well?
Yeah,
it is. I mean, if we can make this thing really cool and make it the way we want it to be without having to nerf it,
totally.
to fit in there, because hitting the teen rating does open up a lot. for us because it's a lot of restrictions on the store that we don't have to deal with. So,
And I feel like that's the way to go about it, right? Like we want this to go as wide as possible. We want to make sure we have the largest chance for success. And the fact is, we haven't really. And then I've learned a lot about this through this process. Like I thought that we were going to have to kind of kneecap some of the creative in order to do so. That wasn't the case at all.
Yeah, that's an important thing to know. Is that there was a much wider opportunity for us to operate within for the teen rating than we had thought. So it's pretty big accomplishment
For the vase. The overall idea that I am kicking around in my head
vase.
is throwable, kind of like the bomb, but it's like you throw it and it shatters on the ground and the water goes everywhere and it stinks and it makes a poison cloud and makes Hoolies kind of
Slow
cough
down.
and barf and stuff like that.
All right.
So that
Look
might
out.
be
Makes you
something-
gassy.
There you go.
Yeah.
Look out for that. What I want to touch on here is, we've got the first game mode in, which is the free-for-all, which they're playing right now. Talk a bit about how it works in the map, because what I can see is like a bit of a blue barrier around this particular area, and I believe we've got different zones for now. I'll talk a bit about that, and then let's talk about some of the other game modes that we're working on as well in parallel.
Okay, yeah. So we built Hooliland as a big open world into faction areas. So right now there's 7 faction areas, and then there's a decentral park that we have as an 8th area for potential free-for-all. And so what you're seeing here is a zoned in area. This is the mutants area that we're playing in right now. So if you go out of the area, it's kind of like traditional like kill dome from like any battle royale that you're going to start losing health if you go in there. And so you can venture out into Hooliland if you want during the mode, but you're probably only going to last like 20 seconds or so out there.
Just made it.
And this is basically to give us zones to build game modes inside of. So right now we're playing free for all. We're developing a coin mode that kind of works. So it's kind of like kill confirm, but instead of one little tag, each Hoolie will hold up to 10 coins, and if they're holding 10 coins and you kill them, all 10 coins will shoot out like Sonic the Hedgehog, and you have to collect them. And then most coins at the end of the match wins in that mode, and so it'll be similar to this, but with the coin rules. And then we have other modes that I'm kicking around, like scavenger hunts and like money bags, which you have to like hold a money bag, and then you can't like jump around and shoot. And it's kind of like, if you played like Skulls or King of the Hill, it's kind of similar to those games.
Something too that's really really awesome is to see the progression of the map and all the intricacies that have come along with this. Where like, I was playing an older build earlier this week. And to see where it is, right now on screen and what's playable, currently, it's incredible. The map, the size has technically stayed the same, but the depth of it has increased. Where you have all these little, like in this area we're watching right now, like you've made it so fitting for this sort of like battle, and having like all the little areas behind the buildings open up, so you can like flank them, having all these like little areas like open where you can like jump in and have easier access to go attack each other. Like it's super intricate, and it just comes down to it speaks to how well you guys understand solid gameplay and just like what feels right and what feels good for getting in there and just
fun,
having fun. Exactly.
Yeah, we're putting a lot more personality into the areas now too. So right now, you're seeing mutants, but if you were to go over to one of the other areas, it's not going to feel like this. It's going to feel like a totally different like kind of vibe over there. So like right now we're building out the punk bunners to feel kind of more like punk rockers and kind of seedy, or like
you have the donut shop.
There's a kind of a different
good
vibe
old Carl
over there.
Berger's always holding it down.
Yeah, then the bunners area, there's gonna be Carl Berger and a bunch of artsy buildings and stuff.
Yeah, artsy fartsy
the
stuff.
cipher buns, which you can in the distance you can see a hologram Hoolie on top of the building.
Yeah.
We're going to be reworking that area to be a lot more like cyberpunky and video gamey. So you might see like hologram trees and grass and stuff like that.
Good suggestion here. Carl Berger statue coming to life. Maybe in the future. It could be a bit of a boss.
Yeah. So
a good question for Elvex actually. So and this is likely to change, but in terms of right now, how will you get into this free for all game mode? And I believe in this build there's going to be there is three zones. One being the mutant area, one being the rogue jumpers. I can't remember the other one. But how will you get into the game mode? And then is that how it's going to work in the future, or will we have a different system in the future?
So right now, I think it's going to be a server that you're going to jump into, right?
Yeah. Right now, you're going to be playing with the servers playing. And although people do have the ability to spin up their own listen servers, and we're gonna keep that for a while. But yeah, so when you're spinning up a server, you choose what game mode you want it to be playing, and then if you're joining a server, then you're playing with whatever the server is running. And then later on, that is going to change. Like later on, the game modes are going to be discoverable just within the overworld, and so rather than like picking one from the menu and spinning it up, you'll be jumping into them.
Yeah, I kind of really like that. But like the old Need for Speed games where you kind of just roaming around and can join a race.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So in free roam, eventually, if you're in free roam, there's going to be like a place you can go to and spin up the mode that you want to jump into and hop in there, and it'll put you to the other servers and all that stuff.
Very cool.
Is the plan. Yeah, we're likely going to be doing some kind of maybe not for this first release, but mixing game modes into playlists. So you can kind of get a variety as you play.
That's
like,
cool.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, really like
for
that
this
idea.
mode, you'd be just getting kills, and then the next one might be like the coin mode, and then the one after that might be some kind of scavenger thing.
Yeah.
Depending on like what the style of PvP, PvE.
Yeah.
Something that might be good to touch on too, guys. The pros and cons of being on the bleeding edge and building this game, on Unreal 5 and in the way that we've gone about it. I mean, I know, we're really pushing hard to get this build out, today, but seeing the progress here, it shows that, like it's come a long way, but also now as a team growing into that next phase of, okay, let's roll this out correctly. Let's get it up to, let's get it up to the correct places to, become that next step into the professional game building, game rollout, or game developers. So I don't know. I guess like maybe for Kevin and Carl, like what in your eyes, like being on the bleeding edge, of course, is has its pros and cons, and we feel it every day and every week. Kind of, I don't know. What's your thoughts on this?
It means you've got to solve your own problems because you can't Google them. I mean, the biggest thing that we were running into over the last couple of weeks, which I think we probably mentioned in the last AMA, was the dedicated server support. And if you go and take a look at the release notes for Unreal 5.2, which just got released yesterday, you're going to see like a big chunk of their release notes is dedicated server, like complete overhaul.
Yeah.
And a lot of that stuff is stuff that Archie was just chipping through granite on, working with the Epic people on over the past couple of weeks, because if any other team is at this point and trying to do this stuff, then they're running into the same stuff that we are. I mean, we're really obviously on the vanguard because we're running into a lot of stuff where it's like, hey guys, this looks like it's broken, and then we get into contact with our friends at Epic, and they're like, oh yeah, you know what, it sure is. Here's what we can do about it, and just go working back and forth with them, and so the benefit of it is we get to use this amazing tool. I mean, Unreal 5 is a magnificent piece of software. It's incredible what you can do with this thing. The downside is that, sometimes there's stuff that you discover is, not quite ready for prime time, and you got to figure out what's going on, and you got to start working with them on it.
And in most cases too, it's like we've run into certain hurdles. And it's not like an unsolvable problem. It's just usually it's time that it'll take, and sometimes that time's not up to us. It's on other, maybe on Epic's side or somebody else's side. Yeah, so it is. But to your point, like being on that bleeding edge, it is exciting, but also presents new different kinds of challenges that you have to work together on.
What's awesome too about being up to date on the engine drops from Epic is anytime they do a big drop, we're pretty close to ready to roll on using the new toys that they give us, and
that's awesome.
we're not restricted by being locked to a specific release of our own internal engine. And I mean, we got to update stuff, but like say if something drops for Lumen or Nanite that's brand new, we can kind of like check it out right away and be close to using it. And so that's awesome.
Also, probably a good time to note just like the additional benefits of obviously rolling with the Epic Game Store. Then it's huge. I mean, when there's security benefits, we also have update benefits now. We're now launching this game. You know, when this gets into your guys' hands, it's going to be done so through a very professional and real distribution pipeline.
We're growing up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Tell us a bit about kind of the tools that come with being on Epic as well. I know there's going to be voice chat. I know you get the Epic matchmaking servers. I ain't no technical
Still a lot
guy,
to
but
integrate
talk to
there,
us.
but
Yeah. There's quite a lot in there. I mean, there's persistent player profiles, which is important. I mean, as you level up as a player, we got to have a place to store that information. As you acquire stuff, we got to have a place to store that. Of course. You know, there's KPI tracking that's valuable for us, but also valuable for the community because we can see what people are doing. Like, are the weapons that people really like? Are there weapons that nobody's using? Are there places in the map that everybody's playing in? Places nobody's going? You know, it allows us to find out what's going on and find out what we got to tune and how we can make this into what it needs to be. But yeah, there's a ton of stuff in there. There's a lot of back end stuff too, like stuff that you don't really think about until you face it, like distributing updates. You know, when we want to go and update the servers and and update the clients to communicate with them in the old system. You know, if we were just going and putting a build up on the website, we go and update the server. We got to put a dialog box or something saying, hey, you need to go and download a new version of the game and pull it down. Whereas once you're distributed through the store, you don't need to think about that. It handles it for you. It says, hey, you need to update before you can play this game. And which everybody kind of takes for granted. It's a parity point for any modern professional game, but the reality is behind the scenes there's a bunch of stuff you've got to do to make that happen. And so now that's going on. So the experience of playing and maintaining the game, it's like we don't want you to have to think about it. We don't want we want it to just work.
Yep.
Great question here from Mike Smith. Will the Epic matchmaking profile help him get a girlfriend?
Very likely, yes. Yes, and specifically, we can work out some algorithms for
and that might be a question for Blue Bob here in a little bit too.
Does Blue Bob have a girlfriend? That's interesting. Is Blue Bob's girlfriend Blue?
Blue Bob, do you have a girlfriend? Thinking.
I don't have a girlfriend, matey. The sea is my mistress, and I don't need no other.
There you go.
Right. Blue Bob's right there.
Ask him how our friend can get a girlfriend.
How can Mike Smith get a girlfriend?
How can Mike Smith get a girlfriend?
Next, we'll ask him if Epic can help.
Well, Mike Smith should start by being himself and not trying to be someone he's not.
Ooh.
He should also try to meet new people and socialize, whether it's through hobbies, events, or online dating. And most importantly, he should be respectful, kind, and honest with any potential partners.
Appreciate that, Blue Bob.
There you go, Mike Smith. Take heed to Blue Bob. All right, another question here is like, whilst this is going through, Epic's QA QC process, what are we doing in the meantime?
Optimizing.
Yeah.
Optimization.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, yeah. 'Cause the game is built. So now the thing to do is profile it, play it, and just play it over and over and over and over again. Write down everything that we need to fix. Run the profiler on it, and especially deal with like networking stuff that we know we're going to need to clean up. But that's the key. I mean, you've heard the mantra, make it work, make it right, make it fast. Now you go into the make it fast phase.
Yeah. And it's all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes now that, it's all unseen work to, the outside world, but it's so important to make it so all the hard work that goes on that's forward facing can actually be seen.
Yeah. Make sure that when this gets into your guys' hands, it feels smooth, it feels playable, it's intuitive.
And optimization is like massively important, right? So tell us a bit about that. Is that about getting the frame rates up, having as much activity in there as possible, and how easy is it to just build something and not have it well optimized? Is that a really difficult part of the process?
Yes. Yeah. Optimization is what separates the amateurs from the pros. I mean, it's really, really easy to make something that looks crappy and runs fast. And it's really easy to make something that looks beautiful and is a slideshow.
Runs crappy.
But the hard part is making something that looks good and plays well and runs fast and pulls frame rate. So you know, in the process of doing that, that's where you get into the expert stuff. Like, I mean, to do that effectively, you have to understand just under the hood what the engine is doing with the things you're telling it to do, and you need to learn your tools. You need to learn how to profile, because whatever you think is going to be slow isn't going to be slow, because you probably, if you're a competent developer, you already optimized that part. It's always going to be something you didn't think was going to be a problem. I mean, you know, we just discovered a big one just a couple of days ago where it was audio allocations. Just we were like, what, you know, what's going on with our memory? It's like we were watching like memory consumption just creep up progressively on the server, and we're like, okay,
Which created slow gameplay.
and eventually crash it.
Yeah, crash
Yeah,
it down.
I mean, it would slow, it would chunk the server down, and then eventually it would crash it. And we're like, okay, we got to find out what's going on. And we're like, okay, is it physics? Is it, you know, it's like, you know, what do we have?
Process of
allocations
elimination.
therapy?
Figure out what's going on.
Well, the big thing is tool. You go and run your memory profiler, and all of a sudden, memory profiler, we're like, you know, we're looking at stable graphs except for audio. We're like, whoa, this is audio allocation going on here.
Yeah.
And then, you know, but you need to, and we figured out what was going on. It was basically like, you know, sound cues that had delays on them longer than the rate at which they were being created. So, like, you know,
Interesting.
And I helped.
right?
I did it. That was me. My fault.
All right.
but we found it and we fixed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the kind
Carl
of thing.
was
like,
sabotaging the
Yeah. I wanted us to try harder.
One
lesson learned.
One of the things that's kind of going into this build as well is KPI tracking. Like, what will that be used to do apart from spy on people?
It's used to understand the gameplay. I mean,
Sell the data to the CIA.
Yeah, exactly.
Meta Zuckbot, you mean?
Oh, it matters up, but
that's yeah.
Sorry.
Mostly you use it to find out what your game needs to be. Like that's how your players really vote.
Yeah, make it better.
Yeah, I mean, your players vote by what they really do. People are
Totally.
going to do what's fun, and they're not going to do what's not fun. So you watch them, and you see what they're doing a lot of, and what they're not doing a lot of, and you can kind of infer from that. Okay, well, the stuff they're doing a lot of, we got to lean into that. The stuff that they're not doing a lot of, okay, how come? What's wrong with it?
Yeah.
You know, is there, you know, is there a problem we just didn't spot, or you know, did we guess wrong about what was going to be fun? But KPI tracking gives you that. I mean, you're going to achieve what you measure.
Yeah.
Entirely.
And you got to be measuring whether, you know, just what's working. You got to watch the game run, and because otherwise you're working blind when you try to change things.
Very true, man.
And we've all played games where like we loved a version of the game, and all of a sudden they go and do an update to the game, and they kind of screwed it up, and you're like, what happened? It's like, this was more fun before, you know. It's like, and that means that they weren't paying attention.
Yeah.
You're watching the wrong stuff.
A question is, what is that blue thing? Ask
That's Captain Blue Bob.
Say, what is this blue thing that I see in front of me?
What is this blue thing I see in front of me?
Oh,
That's a vague question.
Curious to see how
Loaded
you interpret
question.
this one. You might take offense to
I
that.
don't rightly know what blue thing you're talking about, matey. But if it's treasure you're after, I might be able to help you find some.
Thanks, Blue Bob.
who is Captain Blue Bob?
Who is Captain Blue Bob?
Forgot who it was. After all those
Existential
adventures
question.
on the
Yeah.
high sea.
Why, I'm Captain Bartholomew Blue Bob O'Malley, matey. I'm a pirate captain who sails the high seas with my crew, the Sapphire Marauders. We're always on the lookout for adventure and treasure, and we're not afraid to take on any challenge that comes our way.
Are those real tattoos or henna?
Those look like scars. He's hardcore.
Blimey, you're right, matey. These tattoos are just henna, but they still make me look like a proper pirate, don't they?
Thanks for pointing that out, Savvy.
Are you my boy, Blue?
Oh,
Are you my boy, Blue?
you're my boy, Blue.
Nah. All right.
We broke him.
Actually, quite.
for the record-
There's some interesting comments on the voice.
Yeah.
I think everyone expected Captain Blue Bob to have a deeper voice, but I kind of like that he doesn't.
Right?
He's this big blue beast, but is very well soft spoken.
I think I saw on there's a couple people asking for a Carl AI. We were talking about it right before we started rolling here, guys. So we'll see what we can
That's
do
a
about
possibility.
that. That's I feel like it's a very real
It's in
possibility.
the car.
I would say it's a probability.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Once
It's
Colin
just a
gets
matter
back
of
here.
when.
I want a Dumbledore.
Are you?
Oh, dude, we'll make you a
Yeah,
bubble
man.
door, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Hell
absolutely.
yeah. We'll make one for all of us.
There you go.
Yep. Alrighty then. Is Blue Bob down? Or is he still working?
Blue Bob, are you still here with us?
Taking a break.
I'm after
Stay in a
restarting.
break, man. He gets tired. Still got a lot of muscles
Stretching,
push
he's
around.
stretching.
All right, good stuff.
I'm still here.
Okay, cool. So,
I'm always ready for a bit of a chin wag.
all right,
It's
fine.
chin wag.
Tell us about his last adventure on the high seas.
Tell me about your last adventure on the high seas.
Yeah, let's see.
Oh yeah, he's thinking. He's ready.
All right.
Me last adventure on the high seas was a right corker it was.
Me and me crew had set sail for the Caribbean in search of a treasure trove that was said to be hidden on a small, uninhabited island.
We had to navigate through some rough waters and fend off a few pesky Navy ships, but we finally made it to the island. After some digging and a bit of a ruckus with some rival pirates, we found the treasure and loaded it onto our ship.
It was a right haul, let me tell you.
Were there any zombies involved?
Thanks, Blue Bob.
Were there any zombies involved?
Zombies, you say? No, matey, there weren't any zombies involved in that adventure.
But I've heard some tales of cursed islands and undead pirates, if that's what you're interested in.
All right, fine. All right, let's chill out for a minute, Blue Bob. Let's get back to this. Let's get back to this game. So talk about the kind of process that we're undergoing now. So it's a lot about optimization, but I know we're also working on a progression system. We've seen some player cards. Any kind of early thoughts around that? And another thing that
definitely.
a lot of people are interested in is we did a lot of building of this world, of the characters, of the animations, the motions, before we started to put in the gameplay modes, which is now what we're doing. Like, what's the science behind all that?
One was just to make the gameplay and what you could do in the game a lot of fun and give you a lot of variety. So we put in a bunch of like emotes and skateboarding system for getting around and lots of different weapons and face animations and kind of building just a lot of personality into these characters before we started shooting them in the face with gumball shotguns and water pistols. But yeah, just kind of, we kind of needed a lot of personality to go into the game before we started getting into the modes, and it's mostly just kind of nailing down the fun of it.
Yeah.
And and now that we have all the mechanics of that, we can build all the modes into the game. So with the skateboarding, maybe at some point we could do like checkpoint races and tricks and stuff. We could do like spray paint mini games where you have to vandalize things and claim turf by spray painting stuff. So there's all kinds of things we can do now that we have all these things that work.
It's great too because these are concepts we talked about again at the very beginning of the project entirely. So now we're finally at a place where we can start to play with some of these things. And
And mechanics drive the dynamics.
Yeah.
So you kind of got to get some mechanics in place, and then you can start to see what dynamics come out of them,
Right.
and then you can start to construct game modes around that stuff.
It's pretty cool. I mean, it's actually a major milestone to see that we're actually now at a place where we can start to play with these things. This is really cool.
All right, we're going to move on to Q&A. I know everybody's enjoying this. And, we're really excited to get this in your hands, and as soon as it gets through the process, it's getting out there, we're going to have a lot of fun with it. We're going to have some, real kind of, potentially some good prizes there for you, some good activities and activations. And are you ready to say something, Wes? I don't know what you're ready to say.
I just wanted to shout out Fiona. Our beautiful UI elements that have gone into this game are looking freaking rad. I know this is over on our list. Just wanted to shout out a lot of UI developments that have gone into this game and updated here. Just want to make sure we got a little shout out to the team on that.
Yeah, it looks
Proper.
amazing.
Yeah, we
and,
are.
This is pretty solid for an alpha, right?
Yeah, this is a lot of software for a small team to have made.
Absolutely.
And so it can only get even better from me. And it's interesting because is that the UFO?
Yeah.
Everyone keeps asking where's the UFO. The UFO has crashed. All right.
Yeah.
Is it? All right. Interesting. There you go. There's
It's
the UFO.
what they do.
So I don't even know where I was going with that. I've lost my chain of thought after seeing that UFO. We'll have to understand what the story is behind that. But anyway, I have no idea where I was going. So let's go over to the Q&A.
Yeah, let's do Q&A.
Ask Captain Blue Bob if on the high seas has ever encountered any UFOs.
Hey, Blue Bob, have you ever seen any UFOs when you're out at sea?
Should ask him if he's had any rum today.
He is a rum drinker.
It's Captain Blue Bob, matey, but to answer your question, I've never seen any UFOs out at sea. But I have seen some strange lights in the sky on occasion. and I've heard some wild stories from other sailors about mysterious sightings. Who knows what's really out there, eh?
Well, there's a big blue guy with a big mustache that looks nothing like a human being out there, so I'm pretty confident there might be some aliens out there, Blue Bob. All right, okay, cool. What's Captain Blue Bob's choice of drink?
Blue Bob, what's your favorite drink?
He's got to think about that.
Blood. Blue blood. All right, Captain Blue Blood's gone silent. All right, let's get some questions coming in. Yes, Zuckbot Saga continuing soon. We're going to discuss a lot more about the plan for Zuckbots at the Reverse AMA on Thursday. We'll also be touching on what's going on in the world of the token as well. So definitely tune in to Reverse AMA. It's going to be a fun one. Today, we really wanted to showcase where we've got to with the game. And having these game modes in and show you the alpha, and you know, we're not just making it up that it's ready. It is actually ready.
Yeah,
it's just going through the process of getting it on Epic now and then continuing the optimization. This is a really solid kind of pre-alpha, and we're just going to build on from here. I mean, every couple of weeks, like a few weeks ago, we sent a build to the testing group over in Discord, and even, you know, look how far we've come since then. So you can only imagine what the next few months look like in terms of progress. So continuing to build, continue to add things, continue to really delve into the fun aspects of this game. And as you can see, it's getting mad, it's getting hectic, it's getting fun. You know, I can't wait to get this in your hands and have some real cool activations around it and have some fun again. This is leaps and bounds beyond the previous release you had. And you know, a year, probably like 6, 7, 8 months ago, and even leaps and bounds beyond the release a couple of weeks ago. So just getting real, boys and girls.
It is.
And Blue thing.
Is it getting real, Blue Bob?
What does Captain Blue Bob identify as? Actually, I'll be interested to know.
Probably a pirate.
It's always real on the high seas, matey.
Thanks.
But if you're asking if I'm feeling the pressure, I'll tell you this. I'm as cool as a cucumber, I am.
There you go.
Yeah, Mike has asked, will this game be labeled as an alpha in the Epic Store? Will be under the impression that it's a full version. It will be an alpha. It won't be distributed. As far as I'm sorry if I'm talking out of turn here, but as far as I'm aware, it will be distributed via access key codes that we'll give to our community. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah. The insider community build that's correct, and then later on we go to the public alpha. But early on, we want to kind of let our trusted friends get it first and help us make it more into what it needs to be.
This is only going out to the public when it's ready to go out and when everybody's happy, when everything works 100% solid, optimized, and we've managed to gather all our feedback together and ensure it's implemented in the game and really kind of lean on those KPIs. You know, we're building this with you all as a community, and it's in our collective interest to really get this right before we send it out to the wider public. So this is still part of the build process. But at the same time, let's have some fun. Let's break some things. Let's throw our energy behind it. Let's continue with the feedback and ideas because that's massively helpful for the team, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We need it.
Damn, Skippy. All right, I really like this map right here. This is the T-Rex chop shop yard, right?
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah, this is the Hair Raisers area.
Yo, Two Hop, come and tell us about this.
Yeah, it's the Hair Raisers area right now.
He's coming. Whilst Two Hop's making his way over, we're taking questions. We are in the Q&A section
What up,
of
Two
this.
Hop?
But I know Two Hop's been working really late nights on this map. This guy's super passionate, and you made a great level out of this. I like all the kind of the different levels, the spots you can jump from, hiding, and all that. Talk us a bit through this.
Okay, well, it took some time to do this. A lot of late nights, but Carl, he was kind of consistent when it came to the walls and stuff and how everything had to be a particular scale. So it was pretty dope. It was pretty dope on my end.
What was the reasoning behind the T-Rex logo?
Oh, that was all Drew Meister's idea. He came with the T-Rex. I mean, he had so many names as far as the chop shop goes.
Yeah.
The story behind this building is that it's kind of like a commercial business that is responsible for collecting all the damaged cars that you destroy. So it's kind of like a well-respected chop shop in Hooliland.
Gotcha. And they're all about family.
Yeah, they're about family.
All about family.
And it's all about family.
Fast X coming soon. All right, another question for you too, Hop. What's the next track you're working on? Song?
Oh, the
Is
next
it the
track.
country one? The country album?
Oh,
Do you want to let off some bars right now? You want to let off some bars for us?
lay out some what?
Bars.
Some bars?
Oh,
okay.
I know this guy's ready.
Okay. Let's see. I'll do the one for Cypher Buns, and they go. Cybernetic upgrades my system, my data, artificial intelligence was written in code. Machine being my man, I was set to explode to the hooligan shoulder. What vibe we on? We seek and destroy what I hear in my head. You caught on my path, I'm leaving you dead. Instead, I'd rather leave a red beam on the Zuck bot, but the top off, body flop off of one shot, drilling, feeling connected, beam, kidding, fed, exposed to tell me the Zuck, I did it, anti-villain, go ahead, set position.
This guy's talent is endless.
There we go, man.
Yeah.
Let's go, 2Hop. All right, cool, good stuff. I've got a question here from Nikki94 Boo. Will you have to have NFTs for private keys? Yes, you can. For this build, you're going to need to have a Hooligan or a Zuckbot, and you'll be able to get your key. However, for other good folks who want to test it out, that are very friendly with us, we may let you have a key. So definitely give us a shout if you want to test it. You know, we're all about family here and community, and kind of getting this in the right hands. So give us a shout if you want a key, and as long as there's some left over to give out, we can definitely accommodate you there. But you do have a responsibility then to play your ass off in this game, and give us feedback and ideas too. So that's your responsibility. That was like 3Hop. You're now called 3Hop.
Yeah,
You graduated
well
from
done, man.
Wes
Well
is picking
done.
up the mic now. You got some bars for
Nope,
us, Wes?
nope, I don't.
Wes.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. All right. Okay, good stuff. Got time for a couple more questions. If you want them, get them in. But if not, we'll continue talking. Let's see what Blue Bob's got to say.
Blue Bob, can you rap?
Ooh. To ask him to rap Stan. First verse.
Well, I'm not one to brag, but I've been known to spit a few bars in me time. I may not be the next Jay-Z, but I can hold me own, that's for sure.
Give us some bars.
Can we hear a few bars?
All right, you've twisted me arm.
Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum. We're the pirates of the Sapphire Marauder. We're not just some chum. We sail the seas looking for treasure.
That's it. All right.
Yeah.
This guy's good, man. This is my favorite. All right. Let's hear him hit. What's a good verse? Let's hear him spit a Busta Rhymes verse. Which one was the real fast one? Let's see if we can do it. What was it called, man?
Can you recite a Busta Rhymes verse? Let's just see if he can do anything.
What was the one that I'm forgetting? Oh, I can't remember it.
Now hold on a minute there, matey.
He's thinking.
While I may have some skills when it comes to rapping, I'm afraid I'm not familiar with the works of Busta Rhymes.
All right,
But if you give me some time, I'll be happy to learn and come back with a verse for you.
Wow. Very happy about that one.
He was ecstatic about that one.
How about any verses from Jay-Z?
Now you're speaking my language.
Let me see if I can remember one of Jay-Z's classics. It was all good just a week ago.
Oh yeah.
Can you tell me more?
I think he's got scurvy.
This guy's funny. Nah, I think that's Blue Bob, man.
I think that's all we're getting out of Blue
He doesn't
Bob.
want to get
Yeah.
sued by Jay-Z.
Yeah, we broke Blue Bob.
He doesn't want to embarrass Jay-Z by being a better rapper than him. All right, thank you, Blue Bob, for your assistance today. Okay, will there be pirates in the game? Let's see. I mean, this is actually my favorite AI character. I'm sorry, Crystal Bun, but
No, I agree.
I like
we're
Blue
all-
Bob,
yeah,
man. Blue
Bob's fun.
Bob's more my kind of geezer. All right, so I think that's it for today. I think we've got to
we
really
covered a
that's
lot,
it,
man.
guys.
We covered a ton.
showcase the new build. It is looking exceptional. It will be in your hands soon. There are game modes. You're going to have a lot of fun. You're going to have a lot of competitive gameplay. This is all part of the development process, but you can really see how far we've come in a very short amount of time, and how much the studio and the team are really putting effort into this to make it great. Like, we are leaps and bounds beyond what we've previously done and pretty much a lot of what's going on in the space in Web3 gaming, and we're going to continue down that road. And we don't compare ourselves to anybody. We keep just doing those. We keep turning up, delivering, and to make the best possible game we can build. And I think with the talents we've got, with the team here, with the team that you can't see on screen right now, there's absolutely nothing that can stop us achieving greatness for this. So big shout out to everybody, big shout out to the Carrot Gang for always turning up, for always looking out for us, for always getting involved in everything we do, and appreciating, and taking our apologies that we couldn't get it in today either. But you can see why, and you can see why it's going to be such a great smash when we do get it to you. So big shout out to you all. Big shout out to you, Captain Blue Bob. And any final words from the guys here? What are you excited about? Tell us, man. Get
Thanks
hype
for
out
everything.
We
Thanks
appreciate
for,
you so much, Carrot Gang. We can't wait to get this in your guys' hands.
Cannot wait to get it out to everybody.
Too Hot's been getting active on Twitter as well recently.
Yeah, I've been active. I love the Carrot Gang, man. I love the community, man. Y'all, man, there's so much love on there. It's ridiculous. I love it.
Yeah, thanks everybody. We're excited to get this in your hands, and thanks for tuning in today.
All right, big shout out to Beto as well.
Always Beto 6967.
Big shout out to absolutely everybody.
All our mods, you guys are amazing. Appreciate you all.
Yeah, big shout out to Uncle Buck too.
Uncle Buck,
great movie as well.
And great movie, but also big shout out to Uncle Buck, all our community members. Love you all so much, guys.
Hooly hoo!
Hooly hoo! Thanks, Blue Bob.
I think that's it, guys.
I think that's it. All right.
You're welcome, man.